Welcome to my YouTube channel, everyone. Today we're going to explore and do a retrospective on Nights into Dreams, a flight simulation action game developed by Sonic Team and released on the Sega Saturn in 1996. And I was going through the old video game magazines of the 90s, and I've noticed that Nights into Dreams was promoted as a Sega Saturn's answer to Mario 64. And there was like a lot of hype around this game. But personally, I've never heard of this game before, up until the recent years, and I've never seen anyone playing it back in the days. The Sega Saturn is largely unexplored to me. Only recently I developed like a curiosity for it, and I was checking various Sega Saturn videos, and Nights into Dreams was like in every Sega Saturn video, and I gotta say, like, I instantly got attracted to this game. I even got a little bit obsessed with it, because I really like the mascot genre, and I also like that aesthetically it's very similar to the Pandemonium games, which I really like. Also like the whole 2.5D gameplay. So that's how I kind of found out about this game and decided to check it out. So the story is about a boy named Elliot and a girl named Clarice, who deal with issues like bullying and lack of confidence. And so one night the kids find themselves in the dream world of Nightopia, where they meet the entity called Knights. The kids help Knights to defeat the main villain called Wiseman, who wanted to steal their ideas and manifest himself into the physical world. Ideas in Nights into Dreams are the essences of courage, purity, intelligence, wisdom, and hope. Eventually, the adventure in Nightopia boosts the confidence of the kids and help them face their fears in real life. Already, I think the story is a lot deeper and a lot more elaborate compared to Mario 64. And it has a nice message too, I think. Now let's talk about the gameplay. There's a lot going on here, and it can be a bit confusing at first, but I'll try to break it down as best as I can. First, you need to choose whom you want to play as, Clarice or Elliot. And each of the kids has 4 levels to complete. When you play as the kids, the gameplay is in full 3D. But Elliot and Clarice don't really do much apart from running around and jumping. And I gotta say, the controls are very stiff, and awkward. Now, when you enter a level, you'll find yourself attacked by the Nightmarans, who steal your ideas and lock them in the idea capture device. So now you need to dualize with Knights and retrieve the stolen ideas. Once you dualize with Knights, the gameplay becomes 2D. So basically we have 3D graphics, 2D gameplay, so the game is really 2.5D at its core, just like the Pandemonium games that I mentioned before. The game has like a racing game format, and there are 4 laps with timer that you need to complete. Each lap is different and grants you access to different areas of the same level. Now, in each of the 4 laps, you need to collect 20 blue orbs as fast as you can in order to break the idea capture device and retrieve the stolen ideas. Once that's done, the bonus time will start. And so now, with the remaining time, you need to try and fly around, collecting rings, orbs, stars, kill enemies, do acrobatics and all of that stuff, Basically, instead of flying directly back to the temple and deposit the retrieved idea, you need to fly above the temple and try to score as high as you can. Because there is a scoring system, and you need to get at least a C rank in each of the level to unlock the final level for each of the kids and beat the game. Now, Knights has several abilities, like for example the Drill Dash, which helps you speed up. Then you have the Power Loop, which will gravitate all the collectible objects towards you, and of course the Grabbing. And all these 3 abilities can be used to kill enemies. You can also perform acrobatics to increase your score, and Knights also has the ability to morph into various things depending on the situation. One of the things that annoyed me in this game is the long recovery time after you've been hit by an enemy. This game has probably one of the longest recovery time in this genre of games that I know of. Now, if you run out of time during a lap, first of all, you will lose all the orbs that you've collected, and the dualizing will stop, and so you will be in control of one of the kids again. Also, the game will go back to full 3D. During this mode, you have two options. You can either go back to the temple and duelize with knights, or you can explore the game in full 3D with one of the kids. But just keep in mind, there is an alarm clock chasing you, and if it catches you, you will wake up and it's gonna be game over. After you complete a level, you get a boss fight, and defeating the bosses as fast as you can will improve your overall score. The biggest downside here is that if you lose a boss fight, you will have to start the whole level from the beginning, which honestly can feel quite annoying and unfair. I think it would have been better if the boss fights were treated as separate levels, like for example in the Crash Bandicoot games. In terms of bosses, we have some easy ones like Puffy, Galpo and Gilwing, which you will have no problem defeating. We also have like some medium difficulty bosses like Klaus and Riala, and Jackal is definitely the hardest one, because in order to defeat Jackal you need to separate him from his cape and then try and hit him, and it's a bit difficult to do because of all the colors on the screen. Everything is moving really fast. Jackal is moving really fast, and there's also like the camera angle is not really helping you, you know, and it's quite difficult to aim. So yeah, I definitely struggle the most fighting Jackal in this game. After you score at least C in all of the basic levels, you will unlock the last level called Twin Seats. And here, Knights is captured by Wiseman, and it's up to Clarice and Elliot to save him. You need to complete all the laps within the 180 seconds time limit, and it can be a bit challenging, you know, especially with the balloons dragging you upwards and interrupting your flight. If you are successful, you will break Knights out of the prison and fight Wiseman. And depending on whom you beat the game as, Clarice or Elliot, you will see different endings. Like I said, there's too much going on in terms of gameplay. I was very confused the first time I played this game. One of the things that bugged me was that the enemies are not clearly visible, you know, and sometimes it felt like they were popping out of nowhere. I think you need to play this game a few times to understand it and learn how to play it, but when you do that, the game gets really fun and addictive, like, trust me on that. Moving on to the graphics. To me, this game looks absolutely beautiful. I just love all the polygons and the pixels, you know, this game feels like heaven to me. The dream and the fantasy concept allows for very creative and imaginative level designs, like we have water bubbles, rivers, underwater tunnels, snowy mountains, the whole upside down concept, liquid floor, things that we've all seen in dreams. And the 3D rendering allows for gameplay and visual variety, which I really like. As I've mentioned before, Knights was supposed to rival Mario 64, but personally, I find more visual concept parallels with the Pandemonium games, like for example, the Knights gesture design, the weird creatures, the levels themselves. There's this whole medieval circus vibe going on, which is not bad at all. Like, I live for this stuff. To me, this game looks phenomenal, and I can only imagine how it seemed to people back then. Like, the video game magazines of the 90s were ecstatic with Knights' visual design, and rightfully so, I think. Another thing that I really like about Knights into Dreams is the music, and I think it has one of the best soundtrack in this genre. And I imagine at the time it sounded really fresh and inspirational. Nowadays, I would say it sounds 100% 90s and nostalgic, and honestly I love it. It has great sound selection, catchy melodies and magical atmosphere, and I think it really complements the visuals and elevates the game to the max. The overall presentation must have been insane back then, and I think this game is a great demonstration of the Sega Saturn capabilities. So Knights into Dreams is like a time machine that takes you right to the heart of the 90s. I think it's easily one of the best and most impressive games of the 5th gen consoles, and the Sega Saturn in particular. One thing I wish though is that this game was a bit longer, you know, with more levels, because as it is, it feels very short. But nevertheless, it's a great game which I think should have had many sequels by now. I think it's a really missed opportunity that they haven't made more Knights games. But yeah, I think this game is a great introduction to the Sega Saturn and a must-play for the retro gamers. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Check out my channel, and until next time.